Hello, hello, hello. This is stream number 47. I'm working on a web server in C++ that I've written mostly from scratch the last 46 streams. And today I'm going to first work on a couple issues I saw between streams that have to do with the code I just wrote just yesterday. And after that, I didn't really have anything else specific in mind for today, so I thought I'd move on and do some refactoring and see where that leads. So let's get started. So the problem I saw yesterday was the floating point values in JSON it's only printing out the first 6 significant digits. So for example, it's actually probably easiest to show you with the live web server. So we're going to run that wstage, wserve, then we'll go to Chrome, localhost 8080. Where I put it? That's not where I put it. Put it there? Yeah. Okay. Actually, before I log in, I'm going to open up. How come I don't see it? More tools, developer tools, and hit reload. And now I can log in. So here I'll show you what I see. So you see here that this timestamp, it's only going to 1 decimal point after, or 1 place after the decimal point. And it gets worse the longer the server runs. It eventually doesn't even give you fractional seconds anymore. So I believe what's going on is it's only going to 6 decimal places, even though we're using a double precision floating point value. And the reason I think it's doing that is I looked up printf in the manual. I'm bringing that up right now. And I looked up character specification for G. Okay, I don't really know how to make this font bigger, but it says here 6 if the position is not specified is the number of digits. I think it also says that under F2. The precision specifies the minimum number of digits to appear after the decimal. Okay, it says after the decimal point. I think G is sort of like that, only it chops off the trailing zeros, right? So I think the problem is we need to specify a precision greater than 6. And before I just randomly pick a number, I want to look up, see what's a reasonable number to say. So let's see. Double precision. All right, what I want to know is the number of decimal points. So, okay, it says if a decimal string with at least 15 significant digits is converted to double precision representation and converted back, the final result should match the original string. I think what that's telling us is we can use 15 for the precision instead of the default 6. So let's go to JSON unit tests and kind of construct an example of the issue. I was using these yesterday. See, but my examples don't go beyond 6 decimal places. This is the closest one. So let's make one that does go beyond. We'll make it something like 60,412.769. So what I'm seeing in reality is it's chopping off the 6.9. We'll see if that's what we see. JSON test, debug JSON tests. And it quickly scrolled off the screen, so we'll run it again with a filter. See, here we see it's rounding up to 0.8. It's basically keeping it to 6 digits. So if I added another one, 3 or 4 or something like that, right? It gets even worse. I believe it'll round it up to the nearest whole number. Oh, we should probably turn these into expects so that we see all the failures actually. Yeah, see, it's rounding it up to the nearest whole number. So let's go and fix that. I think it's just as easy as changing the format string. Right now we're using %lg. I think if I use the correct syntax here for specifying precision, it should fix it. So let's see, where does it say precision? Okay, if there's a dot followed by a number, specifies precision. And it's before the conversion format specifier. So it would be 0.15 LG. Let's try that. Okay. Okay, cool. That was quick and easy. Right. So fix issue with floating point precision. The default precision is 6 for printf style formatting, even for double precision. The default is 6 for floating point values in printf style formatting, even for double precision values. Since double precision values are generally precise to at least 15 digits, see, and then I'll have a reference to why I found that out. See the Wikipedia article. Specify 15 digits of precision when formatting them. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I started a bit late, so I apologize if you're waiting around right at noon Pacific time. I don't know, feeling slow today, and I didn't have like a burning list of issues to put on the plan, so it took me a little bit to get motivated to get going. But the important thing is I'm doing it. So you know, when you have one of those days where you don't feel so motivated, it's very tempting to just say, I won't do it today. But you have to kind of get through that. Soldier through, right? Hey there, Rally Monkey. Apology accepted, Captain Nida. We should have like a whole stream dedicated to Star Wars quotes. That would be fun. Okay. And quotes from other movies too of that era. So next, the server time past 1 day issue. So probably won't see it now on the live server because I restarted it. But before I restarted it, I would see these times go past 23, which is bad. And pretty sure it's because I just made an assumption that the time is never more than a day. And so I never took off the day part. I'm going to solve that problem and use a viewer suggestion at the same time. So if you look back at my log from yesterday, my follow-up, someone has suggested I use moment. So I looked into it, and it's actually really simple to use. We just have to have it installed as a dependency, and then we would take the time in milliseconds, it turns out, and just say .format, and then we put this string, and we'll get exactly what we want, even if the value has the number of days in it. So that's the client end. On the server end, we just need to make sure we don't kind of do anything funny with the timestamp. Like right now, I think I'm trying to find an offset from midnight of the current day, and it's really not necessary. We can transmit the whole value, as in like since the epoch. So I think I want to fix the server end first. So let me go to the server, and oh, the server's not running anyway. Okay, good. In the server's timekeeper. Yeah, right now I did this funny thing. I don't think I need to do that at all. Since this start time real is the actual time since the epoch of... hold on. It's the time since the epoch, which is midnight UTC on January 1st, 1970. At the point where the code actually does this assignment, which will be the first time get current time is called, which is probably very soon after the server starts. So it kind of gives us our base time. And I'm doing that because we don't want to use the seconds portion. Well, actually, we can use the seconds portion, but the get time from the system abstractions time is not based on the epoch. It's based on some arbitrary point in time. So, but we're going to use it for high precision because it gives us millisecond accuracy, whereas this time does not. So, getting a starting real time and then adding that to the difference between the current time and the time we actually sampled that clock should give us the time since the epoch, but with millisecond precision, as long as this system abstractions time kind of goes at the same frequency as the clock that this is derived from, and it should, I think, or at least close enough. Or will it? Let me think about that. That might not be a guarantee. I'll have to look into that. That might take more work. Let me make a note for that. Let's see, system abstractions time may not be locked or exactly the same frequency as real time. So times reported by web server's timekeeper may drift over time. I will need to fix this eventually. I know how to fix that, but it's a little bit of work. So I don't know if I want to do it today. But for now, I think all I really need to do is remove this modulus here. And this is not a seconds offset. Actually, I'm just going to collapse these together. And say that the current time is equal to the time when we started plus the difference between what this time object says it is now and what it said when we started. And you can see how our time will start at the correct real time, and it'll advance at the frequency of this clock. And so if it's not exactly the same frequency, we'll start to drift. Well, we'll fix that drift at some point. So that's the server end. The client end, go to VS Code here. Client end is here. And okay, I have it in my mind to pull in moment.js. I believe the way you do it, just go to the web app here and you do npm install. Actually, I'm going to run help because I don't remember the command arguments exactly. The default save prod, right? So I can just say install moment. It's either moment or moment.js, I don't remember. Suppose I could look it up while it's working. Okay, I didn't have a link to it. Oh, okay, well it added it. So we should see in our package.json that moment is added. And then we should be able to pull it in into our app by doing import I think you just do it this way, right? Okay, it's telling me something. Okay, it's declared but never used, but we're going to use it here. So we're just going to return moment time times 1,000 because it wants it in milliseconds, and the time we were getting in was in seconds. So that dot format time, is that right? No, it's just dot format. And then that string hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. And then we don't need any of this other stuff. Let's give that a shot. And that, my friends, is the overlay I put up when I need to mute the mic. So someone just came home and I had to mute the mic to say hello. Okay, so a moment was installed. I was going to run the server now. So, oh, and I need to get ready to set up the client too. That takes a while to start, so I'll start that first. That's npm start. Back here I will do stage and serve. As soon as this is done, I'll be able to load it up here through localhost 3000. Okay. Then go. Right, so 8080 connect. So now we just need, whoa. Okay. Object is not a function. Oh, I wonder if that's because of the way I imported it. Let me see. This is where I need to do a bit more research to understand JavaScript a little bit better. So React import moment. Oh, okay, it's just no bracket then. Okay, let's try that. Actually, while I'm working, I'm also going to change something in client. Where is it? Right here. I'm going to put 8080 so I don't have to keep typing it. I just need to remember to remove that when I'm done. Before I check it in. Okay, so just put something in there. Okay, cool. So we're using moment now to format the times. And we're getting the time as the full timestamp. So if I took this number, how do I take that number and just copy into my clipboard? Can I just copy? I want to copy the property value. There we go. Copy that. If I look that up, Unix time that, I was hoping it would just say, Google would just tell me. Oh, well, there we go. So that looks like the current time, correct? UTC, yeah, it's 7:37 p.m. Yeah, okay, so we have the time with the milliseconds added. How do we verify it's milliseconds? Maybe answer something and then about a second later, answer again. It seems right to me. And then we're starting to see that there's a millisecond after we guess where the chat room will answer back that it's the wrong answer. I'm going to reduce the font size of this a tad there. Oh, let's answer that one. 141. Yes. Okay, cool. So I'm fairly happy about that. There was a error, a warning, wasn't there? Time zone offset. Oh yeah, we don't need that anymore, do we? That moment takes care of that for us, so we don't need this. Cool. Sounds good. Let's check it in. That was in, there's two parts of it. One's in the web server. The timekeeper, right? Right, so two things. Change or fix precision issue. No, not precision issue. There was no precision issue. Change time base. Compute time, or really, return time based on the Unix epoch. Other than midnight of the current day. The main reason I changed this from current day's midnight to Unix epoch is strange things can happen when you roll through midnight, right? The time base will shift by a day. The timestamps will go back by 86,400 seconds, and so it causes problems potentially that we don't need to cause in the first place. If we just use the full time, it's got a date component, we're just ignoring it, right? But we could compute differences and then cross midnight boundaries without problems. Oh, did I have a... What did I change? I changed something on another computer, I guess. Oh, okay, yeah, there was a fix on the Linux side. So if you ever get into this situation where you made a commit and then you try to push it and it says, oh, well, you're not off the tip. What I like to do, if I can, is do git rebase. If there's no conflicts, then you can just push it. Then whenever that happens, I like to do a mugget poll, just to make sure I have the latest of everything. I didn't make that mistake on some other repo. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. So, we're through these first two things. So, let's do some refactoring. I just wanted to have a little bit of an unplanned, unstructured walk through the code, maybe a meander, to look for things we can improve. So, let's take a look. Just close in a few things here and there. I should close the web server while I build so I can actually build stuff. Okay. Actually, there was something that I wanted to do that I didn't write down on the plan, but it's kind of been irking me. I have JSON as a namespace, but then within that namespace, I have the class JSON. And it does say it represents a data structure, but technically, like from a high-level view, it's just a value, right? If we go to json.org, I like json.org actually. json.org is a good description of what JSON is. So these are the different things that JSON... Actually, how does it say? The overall... An overall JSON file, I think, is usually an object. But in terms of like a value, an object is that just one kind of value. So I kind of see value as really the topmost thing in JSON. And so the thing that I've been calling JSON really should be called value. So what I would like to do is actually just call this value, because it's already within the namespace called JSON. And I think it'll look nicer if it's JSON : value instead of JSON : JSON. And then we need to correct some things in here, like object has a meaning, right? An object is a kind of value. So whenever I use it, I should use it consistently. So this is a value. And this class represents a value in JavaScript object notation. Let's just say that. Represents a value in, or I guess I should say the JavaScript object notation. Data interchange format. Okay. Here I have object again. It should say value. This should say value. This whole module should just be value.hpp, shouldn't it? So let's back up to here. How come it says I have a modification? Do I just need to reload? Oh, I guess I forgot to check in something at the top level. If I did mug at status, it'd probably tell me that. I don't think we checked in yet the inclusion of moment. Oh, I didn't do JSON either? Oh, no, because I was working on that just now. It's this root. Oh, right, the chatter changes. So we added moment. And what's this? I think because npm, when it writes to the file, it does it Unix line ending style and not Windows. So we're adding moment. And then we removed our own custom formatting and used moment instead. So we'll just say chatter use moment to format timestamps. Oh, right. Okay, that went away, so what was I doing before that? Oh, right, I was going to rename the module JSON to be value. The source to just be value. I'll make that value tests. And then here, right here, I think these three, right, will be value tests. And then here, this becomes value, and then this becomes value, but the other JSONs stay the same. That's the library name. Okay. Okay, here we change this. Say JSON value. I think it looks better. I don't know why I didn't pick this from the start. But, you know, things happen. And probably in our test we have the same include thing. Yep. Okay. And this becomes value tests. And then this becomes value. And then I can do a search replace for that as well. Well, let's do it when there's a space after it, because there's like JSON : JSON object. And that will have to be a different search replace. Right? Okay, and the one where there's a parentheses after, we'll fix that. Oops, I didn't hit my replace all key. Yeah, that's when you know you're going in the right direction, renaming, when you get that sense that it's better now. Okay. Okay, then this too, we can replace JSON to JSON value from encoding. Just scanning through. At some point where it's like we have like JSON array. Yeah, so JSON array, I think we can just call that array, right? Then JSON object is just JSON object. All right, so that changed everything in the unit test. We're back to the header here. I'm just using VS Code because I've become a lot faster in doing search replace with VS Code if it's within one module. Okay, here though, it's gonna be, I can't do a search replace because like we don't want to replace that one. Ooh, what happened there? I mangled it somehow in that one too. Okay, is that good? No, some more here. Indexing operators. Actually, I wonder if we can search replace that part. And just say value. All right, that's value, and then array is okay. I kept thinking array and object were types, but they're really just factories. This is what I would call a factory, a function that its only purpose is to return something new. Okay. Now I'm going to look for the word object. And it's going to turn into value in most places, I believe. Except for those are already good. Right, so value, value. I want to be very precise in that an object is a type of value which is like a dictionary. That's object though. And that's also object. So I was a little bit too zealous there. Yeah, that's correct. Those ones are only for objects. Yes, those are all objects. But here it's we're back to being value. And here again, right? All these become values. This is object. And we wrapped around, I think. Yeah, okay, so that should be good. Let's go on to the CPP file. All right, so again here, this becomes value. I forgot we had a constant null represents a null value. Right, we did that. Huh. Oh yeah, okay. I'm trying. I run across these things I wrote not too long ago, and already it almost looks new to me. My memory's going, and like an old man or something. That's fine. That's what these comments are for. I read the comments and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay. Hmm. Let me just look for JSON, see if I, okay, here, yeah, here's all where we have to change a bunch of stuff, right? Actually, these are all value, aren't they? So the only place we'll see JSON is in the namespace. Actually, can I just do that? What if we do this no. How many JSONs are there? Okay, that changes. Please do not, though. Yeah, okay, starting from here, though. Okay, that's value. This is value again. Yeah, we're gonna have to go through search and replace object to value in a bunch of places, I'm sure. Okay, we're getting there. I don't want to go too fast because I'll do stuff like that. That just becomes array. That is value type. Delete that one. Alright. I probably made a ton of mistakes. But let's do the object to value changing. Okay, this isn't array. To JSON objects. These aren't arrays. This is the first JSON. It's actually dictionary, right? I think I copied this from there was another one that compared arrays. Yeah, this one. I copied it and I forgot to update these. This is it's not the JSON object itself, really, it's the contents of the object. This is the dictionary of keys and values in the first JSON object. And then this is the one that's the second. Oh, can I make this shorter? Because I'm at 80 columns. And I'm too lazy to wrap these. I'll wrap it. To JSON objects. All right. Okay, yeah. Type object, yes. Object JSON value. What if we just say as a JSON object? These are all good. Okay. Thought I saw something weird, but looks good to me. Okay, we wrapped. Okay. Let's try to build just JSON. Ooh, I see a lot of red squigglies though. Did I not save? I think I didn't save one of these. Oh, we're not in this file anymore. I need to run CMake again because we moved the files around. Means this is been renamed as well. Alright, it closed it for me. It should have closed that one. So let's just build JSON by itself. Ah, missed a few. Again, build JSON. Okay, I missed a few more. Value type, yes. All right, now let's build the JSON test. Oh, they're called value tests. That's not right. I changed the name of the project by accident. Yeah, the project is JSON tests. The module is value tests. Save that and then run CMake again. Reload. I was looking for JSON tests. There you are. Okay, so now I can run it with JSON test debug JSON test, right? Okay, good. We can go ahead and check that in. This is a bunch of renaming. So, huge renaming. JSON, the class, renamed to value. Remove or rename, hold on. JSON object becomes just object. Rename JSON array is just array. Rename JSON tests module not the program to value tests. Okay. Now everything that uses JSON will be broken. Let's discover that through trying to build the whole project. It's always fun to do that. So just try to say build all the things and it's gonna like, okay, so right away we can't even find the library, which is fine. So we'll go through all those places and fix them all up. Actually, I'm gonna do a search replace in files. Replace in files JSON value.http. And that does not need to be checked. Replace all, it warns you. Only 4? I did that for just 4? Oh well. Okay, so actually I probably at this point could do a search replace in files with the match whole word and say JSON value. 89, okay, that was worth it. Okay, and the same thing with array and object. So JSON object as a whole word becomes object. Okay, that didn't quite work. Object, replace all. Couldn't find, it's right there. Is that not a whole word because there's a colon in front? What if I do that? Okay, what's the deal? Oh, look in object, no. Look in entire solution, yes. Ooh. Why is it going? Okay, it shouldn't have hit any standard headers. Just make sure. You don't want to include external items. That would be bad if there was something in Microsoft's headers named JSON object. Although I'd be really surprised if there was. Okay. So array and object are renamed. Yeah, the power of search and replace in all files. See, let's just run all our tests. I'm pretty sure it's just a name change, right? So there should be no problems. Yeah, so, but, oop, wrong window. We're gonna have a lot of repositories change though, right? Really? Only web server? Web server is the only thing that uses JSON? Websockets should have been changed too, though. I'm confused. Oh, we'll look at that in a second. So this all looks like I expect. Right. Update to match latest JSON library. API. JSON becomes JSON value. JSON object becomes JSON object. And that became that. Commit. I don't understand why WebSocket didn't have any changes. Doesn't WebSocket refer to JSON? Oh, maybe it doesn't. It's our app that we build on top of WebSockets that uses JSON. Yeah. Okay. So it really is only the web server that depends on JSON. I should probably put that in my diagram, right? I have this diagram under overview. So I have JSON down here, but in reality, the only thing that depends on JSON right now is web server. I don't want to draw dependency lines between all these things because it'll just be a spider's nest. Spider web. Rat's nest. Either one. I'm just stopping to think how, if at all, would I document dependencies? They're sort of already documented in the CMake file, right? If I did find JSON in CMake list.txt, we'll see it's only mentioned in JSON itself and in the web server, what we expect. But I guess I'm happy with that for now. That's how we find what things are dependencies for what other things. Okay, so let me put that in the log as extra work we did today. Because you guys helped me out, right? So JSON, rename JSON to value, etc. All right, let's start. Let's go back to scouting. So close everything, collapse everything, and I don't know. We can just go through from the top. What might we want to change here? Nothing. Oh, there was one thing. This just says plugin HTTP, and that says web server plugin entry point. That says plugin loader. So this is the inconsistent one. It should just say plugin entry point. I'm gonna skip main CPP because that's the big one. Look at plugin. Actually is, what path is that in? Your web server does have an include. Why did I do that? Oh, because it is the API plugins use. Okay, yeah. Okay, makes sense. It looks good to me. Oh, okay. Close all the things. Plugin. This looks a little bit ugly to me. Hmm. I don't feel like changing that right now. Plugin loader, yes. Oh, by the way, there's a bug in this directory monitor on the Mac. It doesn't actually see changes to files that already exist in a directory. And we're depending on that for our plugin loader. So it just doesn't, it fails some of our tests. So at some point I need to get back to that. I think I put it in the to do, didn't I? Yeah. Current implementation uses K event. It doesn't detect file changes, so I had a note to try FS events instead. I'm not going to work on that now because I don't have a setup to stream from my Mac. That's exclusively a Mac issue. Hmm. This kind of arrangement where we do that to stop a worker thread and we do that to start one, kind of want to encapsulate that. And then along with that, the mutex at some point. I have it in mind to bring in another library that I developed before I was Twitch streaming called not directory structures, data structures, because one of the classes in that is one that kind of abstracts the notion of a thread, a worker thread that processes a queue, and it does it without using mutexes. And that's a future stream idea, I think. Did I have it already in the list? No, I don't. So bring in data structures library, and with it, I think it was called task something like task queue or whatever I named it, which we can use to remove many of the mutexes condition variables. Not remove, but throughout the code base. Not remove, but encapsulate. And then use lockless data structures a little bit more than mutexes. So we could do that this stream. Need to think about it though. Timekeeper. This one's real simple. I like this one. Just implements the class in terms of the time object and the time of day. Although we do need to work on synchronization. Wondering how we would do that. Maybe an alternative would be we could make another system abstraction, like two of these, one that's high precision and one that's lower precision, and just use the lower precision one because I only need milliseconds. This one is very high precision, I think. Yeah, it's measured using the system's high precision performance counter. Oh, look at this. We already have one called local time. Oh. Ah. Maybe I should have just used this. Oh, but it doesn't have the milliseconds. That's the problem, I think. It just goes down to the seconds. But I kind of want something that's tied to the system clock so that it keeps accurate time, but that has at least a millisecond resolution, but not necessarily high precision, but at least millisecond. Let's make that the subject of a future stream. So system abstractions time. Provide a mix of system clock and high precision. Some notes here. Frequency locked with system time as opposed to the high precision counter, which isn't locked, but has at least millisecond precision. Precision as opposed to the struct tm, which is only precise to 1 second. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that some other time. So close all that. I guess we'll dive into the web server here. I do use an awful lot of includes. Oh, what's this? Cannot overload functions distinguished by return type alone. Well, I'm not overloading it though. I think it's just Intellisense is confused. Yeah, it's just confused because this compiles fine. So my two-step thing to fix Intellisense is first try closing Visual Studio and reopening it. Intellisense will get confused if you do massive renames or restructures, especially if you do it in another editor. Sometimes it recovers here, but if it doesn't, I need to blow away. There's a directory that it creates. It will be the same directory as the solution file. So my solution file is there, so it'll be .vs. And there's where it keeps its cache. This db file is a cache. And in that cache is some of the Intellisense data. So yeah, what happens if this kit gets corrupted? You have to just blow this whole thing away, this .vs folder, blow it away. And restart Visual Studio, and that usually fixes it. But I didn't have to do that this time. Looks like Intellisense is back to normal with just restarting Visual Studio. Okay, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of includes. I don't know if I need them all. Let's do the test. Why might we need chrono? For that one, okay. How about condition variable? We don't, so we don't need condition variable. How about int types? We might need that for PRIU, PRI something, or SCN. No, we don't. So we can remove int types. How about memory? Memory would be shared pointer. Okay, we have that. Regex. Do we actually use regex? We don't. Don't need regex. Okay. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So signal, I'm pretty sure we use signal. Yeah, there we go. We use signal. Standard IO per printf, right? Standard lib for size t. Yep. HTTP server. Yes. This one? Right there. Okay. And we have JSON, right? Yep. Mutex. Do we use mutex? We don't. Don't need mutex. Standard IO, that's duplicated, isn't it? Actually, these aren't in alphabetical order, are they? Let's fix that. That's duplicate. Alright. So, pretty sure we use string. Pretty sure we use that. I think we moved directory monitor. Yep, so we can delete that. And we moved dynamic library. We had all these includes, I think, because this main used to have everything, and then we broke it out to be main plugin loader and timekeeper. And those includes kind of went with it, but I forgot to clean them up. File. Okay, we use system abstractions file. String extensions would be sprintf. If I can spell it correctly. Okay, we don't need that then. Thread? We need it for this thread, yeah. Vector. We need vector. Okay, but I did get a lot of includes removed. What other things could we clean up here? Oh, this is, by the way, something I want to improve on. That's in the future streams too somewhere, or is it under web server? Yeah. Dynamically reload configuration if it changes. Right now we only read it once here before we start the server. So if I change my configuration file, I have to quit the server and restart it to have that configuration apply. So an enhancement would be to detect if the configuration file changes or just respond to a signal, which is what Apache does, I think, and then reload our configuration. So we would have to do that again and pass it to the server again and all that, and also to all the plugins as well. We have these direct printfs even though I'm setting up publisher. I'm wondering if we should just go through the publisher. I think so. Right now when I run the server, I think they show up without timestamps, right? And if I put them through the diagnostics publisher, they would have timestamps. Okay, why didn't it not like that? Arrow, please. Is this an Intellisense issue? Oh, it's a delegate. We just call it. Okay, never mind. So we call it with a string? I don't understand this. What do the strings mean? Oh, sender name, level, and message. So sender name would be just web server. Level, I don't know. How about level 3? And then the message without a new line because the publisher takes care of that. And then exiting. There we go. Very nice. Now everything is timestamped. You know, one other thing I could do, right now the timestamps are all relative to the start of the program. We could format them nicely. That would be something Diagnostic Stream Reporter does, right? Yeah, right now it just does that. I'm wondering if we could like have a delegate. We could pass in like a third thing here, and that delegate would be called with, I guess, this value. Oh no, okay, never mind. The delegate would just provide the value for the string, and when we wouldn't do that, we would do that in some kind of default delegate. Maybe that's an idea for improvement on, that was system abstractions, right? Yeah. So system abstraction, oh, it's already system abstractions, so it's this guy. Optional delegate to compute, or to, not to compute, but to determine and format timestamps. Question mark? As in, I don't know if I really want to do that, but consider it. Because this diagnostic stream reporter kind of has two concerns right now. One concern is it prints to either the error stream or the output stream, depending on the level. And the other concern it has is the formatting. So I can maybe separate those two concerns and then make the part that does the formatting kind of have like alternatives. Or simply divide these two concerns. Not these, but the two concerns of which stream to output to versus how to format a message. Think about that. We generally don't want something to be concerned about more than one thing at once. And this is concerned about two things. Number 1 and number 2. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're in the web server's main function here. We're looking to see what we can improve on. The main program is actually so small it fits into one page of text. One page of text here. All the real hard work is done in reading the configuration, starting the server, and then monitoring it. Okay, so I think I'm done looking here. Let's look elsewhere. It's from the top, base 64. Anything we can do here? This is another one of those libraries and classes where the library name matches the class name. Oh no, there's no class. I just have these. I think I did that because... Why did I do that? I think I was originally thinking that we might include the base 32 and base 16 stuff as well. But I'm not doing that, and if I did, I would just rename things anyway. So maybe we should do the same kind of thing here. They're just base 64 functions, right? So library, module, they're the same. Since this is the principal module, that's fine. But we don't need to repeat ourselves there, do we? So what if we just say, replace in all files, base 64 encode with just encode. Okay. Oh, I need to remove this thing. Replace all. Yes, please. 32 occurrences, okay. And then decode. With just decode. 8 occurrences. All right. I think that's good. So let's build all the things. Cool. It's been a while since I checked stuff in. Base 64, this is a simple renaming. Refactoring. Rename. Base 64 encode to just encode. Rename. There's a little bit of redundancy there, but do I care? No. Don't care. Names of tests are not something I'm going to be really that picky about. Websockets, probably because Websockets use base 64, right? Yep. So, update to latest base 64 API. And then web server. Okay, this was make header guards consistent. This one was removing, okay, there's two concerns here. This one, remove and sort includes. Really clean up includes. And then the other concern was going through the diagnostics publisher for all messages. Publish all diagnostic messages to the publisher. I think we're up to date now. We'll run the unit tests. While doing that, I'm looking to see no changes. Okay. Pretty sure that's all gonna pass, so we'll go on. We'll move on. Close all the things. Gtest is not mine, it's Google's, so we're gonna skip it. All right, HTTP is next. So we got client. We're not actually doing much with client right now other than parsing responses, right? Not much to it. We'll end up using this for any programs we write which will be on the other end. I think, hey, the double shift, I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm just cleaning up my code today. So I'm kind of moving all around. Have you been here before? I can give a little overview of what I do. Just in case anyone's lurking too. Let me do a little overview. So all of this is in the OneNote notebook linked below, but all right, yeah, I have time. So what I've been doing for the last 47 streams, I have under a log here. Every stream I log. And it's gone for how long? 151 hours. So I've been building a web server from scratch in C++. We started on the first stream, I think we did URI, or it might have been UTF-8, one of the low-level components that you need to build a server. We built up these 7 low-level components. Except for system abstractions, all these other 6 were developed completely on stream. And all the code, by the way, is available on GitHub. There's a link below, I think, to the top level of GitHub. And then there's other repositories pointed to from that as well. System abstractions I brought in from some previous work, and the web server is cross-platform largely because this system abstractions library hides the differences between Windows, Linux, and Mac and all that. So yeah, we did much of these low-level components, and then later on, like a month ago, I developed these 3 big ones, which are HTTP is doing the core of the server. So it's receiving requests, parsing them, delegating the resource, like what to do, to plugins, and then the plugins, whatever, generates a response, and we format that into HTTP response and send it out. Websockets is a special protocol for bidirectional communication. So like a great example of that is in a chat room, which is why I made a chat room plugin, by the way. So we've implemented that, and then this HTTP network transport is like a glue layer between HTTP and the system abstraction layer. So it's like HTTP specifies what it needs to get to the world, the internet, and system abstractions implement sockets, and so this middle layer glues those two together. Mathbot is down. Shouldn't be down. Oh, I moved the URL. Let me tell you guys the new URL. So instead of static index, it's chatter index. Yeah, so when you're first connected to my chat room, by the way, you're a lurker, so you can't type. But if you click the drop down and click a name, now you're kind of registered in the room and you can guess. So yeah, this is in 2 pieces. What you're seeing in your browser is a React-based app called Chatter, which I do not have on my list. Okay, but you can consider it the client end of this chat room plugin is this Chatter app. The server side is in this chat room plugin, which plugs into the HTTP core through web server, which is like the very top level integration. So yeah, that's a 10,000-foot view, so to speak. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But we're at a pretty good point now where the server stays running. I have it deployed on Amazon Web Services, and it hasn't crashed in the last couple of days. And so I thought today I would kind of go through the code base and clean up things and kind of come up with ideas on what to work on next. Yeah, so at first I was going to have a chat room where you can just type anything, like, hey guys. And someone suggested to me it's probably not a good idea to just let anyone connect in and start chatting whatever they want. So just to be safe and have a little bit of fun, I kind of built a bot into the room, which asks random math questions, and then you get as many chances as you can to answer it. And the first one to answer it kind of closes the quiz until the bot asks the next question. Haha, I beat you by 101 milliseconds. Anyway, we have 3 plugins actually. This is not up to date, but first I made a static content plugin, which is what's serving the JavaScript and the HTML that was built from the React app. And then there's chat room plugin, which has the math bot in there and does the WebSocket interaction. We also made an echo plugin. So if you go to ryanwood.com/echo, it's just a really simple plugin that will generate a little table telling you what was in your own request headers, which I think is kind of interesting. So you can see I'm connecting from a Windows 10, 64-bit, and my Chrome says that it's Mozilla, it says that it's Chrome, and it says it's Safari, which I believe that's to try to be compatible. So anyway, those are the 3 plugins we made for the server. Oh, great, yeah. Adam's a great guy, and I'm learning a lot from him. He hosted me yesterday, which was really nice of him. And I usually host him when I'm done because he streams longer. So I'll probably hand you guys over to Adam when I'm done. But I'll still be here for another hour and a half, I hope. All right, so I was going through my code base and trying to look for things I could clean up or that are obviously wrong. So this code here specifies the interface that the server requires to talk to the outside world. So a single connection, right? And so here it's specifying the type of the function that you'd use to deliver data to the server and to tell a server that the connection has been broken. Yeah, not saying's one of my hardcore viewers. And if Adam might be on, is Adam out to lunch right now? If you guys want to go back to Adam at any time, I won't be offended. So don't feel like you have to stay. So again, this is the interface the server expects from the rest of the world. So the server can call these functions to get the address and port number of any connection. And it uses these functions to tell the transport layer what functions it can call to when the server needs to receive data or to be told that a connection is broken. And here are the functions that the server calls to send data back to the client and to break its side of the connection. If you're dual streaming both of us, I'm truly impressed because I could never watch 2 channels at once. So, awesome. Oh, by the way, does this work now? I set up the BTTV, and I don't know if it's working because I haven't tested it yet. Yeah? Awesome. I don't have notifications set up, by the way. So I apologize if you're into channels that have a lot of interactive alerts and stuff. I'm still new at this, so I don't have very many of those. So, okay, moving on. I'm looking at, this is the interface to the web server from the point of view of other modules, so plugins, for example. So this is a limited set of methods. We don't want plugins to do things like stop the server. Right, so this is the function that plugins register in order to handle requests. So a plugin will get a request object, It'll get a connection and it'll get any data that came after the request. And that's important in order to not lose data when you upgrade the connection. We pass in the connection so that the plugin can upgrade the connection if they want and basically take ownership of it, which is what the chat room does. This is the type of function that the plugin will hand back to the server whenever the server wants to. Oh no, sorry, I'm getting confused. This is just undoes the registration of a resource. This does the inverse of that. Yeah, don't cross the streams. Crossing the streams is bad. Okay, I have this pattern a lot in my code. So objects that can generate diagnostics, you can call the subscribe method, pass in a function, and it returns you a function back. The function you pass in is the one you want to be called whenever something's published. And then what's returned is what you should call when you no longer want to receive those published messages. So this is all looking good to me. So this is the interface the plugins can use to get and set their own configuration items. And this is how the plugin will call the server to register that it will handle the resource. And this is how it obtains access to the object that's keeping track of time. What are my PC peripheral specs? What's the best way to show that? No, we're not. No bots, I know. Actually, there is one bot. I have Stream Elements, but all he does is help me with that. System info. Well, I don't want to give away personal info, but I'll just read it off screen. I have a Gigabyte X299UD4 motherboard, which gave me problems around stream 30 to 40 because I had an older BIOS installed. So that's Gigabyte 9UD4. And then, yeah, I got, and this doesn't list everything. Yeah, 32 GB RAM. And there was like a cool program that I ran once that like gave me a good summary of my computer. I don't know what it was. System info is not giving me something that is easy to show without revealing personal info. But yeah, you have an SSD and an HDD, right? I'm a fan of running or installing my system and programs on SD and then putting all my documents on another drive, which isn't an SSD. And that came in really handy when my system crashed completely and got corrupted like a week or so ago. Just replace the SSD, reinstall Windows and all my programs, and I'm back up. Run dxdiag. Okay, I can do that. Do you want to check if you're did? No, I don't care. Okay, it's loading. Yeah, okay, so I have, check this out. I have a GTX 1060 6GB. And I can't show you guys because I don't have a camera, but I have a nice ultra wide monitor, which I'm streaming from. I'll show you guys the extent of it. So if I keep dragging this, I'll keep dragging until I actually hit the edge of my monitor. So it's way over there. Right? So there's that much more space. Actually, let me do a precise measurement here. So we have this much more space that you guys can't see. I'd totally recommend that, especially if you're getting older, because it's much bigger. And then off screen, I got an older Samsung monitor, but what is it? An LG. Hold on. I used to know how to do this faster. Windows is not helping me out. I already closed dxdiag. Says it's a generic PNP monitor. Hold on. I can find this out. Device. Monitors. Huh. I guess since I reinstalled Windows, it no longer knows exactly what monitors I have. I think mine's a 29-inch LG ultrawide, just like you, not Zane. Really nice. And my graphics drivers, I had to update them to play WoW the other day, so yeah, but Windows doesn't know what they are. Maybe NVIDIA does, though. I can show that. So, how do I see that? System information? What's that going to show? Ah, there we go. It's still not showing me what kind of monitors I have, though. I'm not impressed by Windows these days. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Sorry, I hope I gave you enough info. I'm not super into the hardware specs. I mostly just set up a machine with not the highest end stuff, but maybe a little bit cheaper, and then if it works for me, I just move on to doing software. I don't really get hung up on exactly what I have. Yeah, the NVIDIA control panel's pretty old. Alright, so I was looking through my server API, which looks pretty clean. Let's look at request object. Okay, so a request has a state, sort of how far we've parsed the request, what the method is, the target URI, the headers, the body. There's an initial, how do we put response in that with the request? Oh, if it's an error, we indicate what error we would like to return for it. Yes. And then we have a helper for Google test to print request state values. Yes. The response is mostly the same, I would expect. Okay, request doesn't have a generate. I think it will eventually when we turn around and start making clients. Response has a generate. Request will probably end up having a generate. And then response will have the same kinds of things request does, like parsing state and other things. Well, the other things are already there. Whether it's valid or not, and what the parsing state is. Okay, so next, the actual web server's header. This is the internal header, right? No, this is the external header, but this is what the owner of the class will access it through. So the derived class. Right, so here's how we do dependency injection for the server. Right now, there are two dependencies. The transport layer, which is how we get to the outside world as far as network connections, and then there's a timekeeper. I chose to have the timekeeper be a dependency so that when I test the server in my unit tests, I can have a mock timekeeper that doesn't track real time, but fake time. You'll see this everywhere in my code where I like to group together the 5 methods that generally you either want to define all of or none of. It's called a rule of 0 or rule of 5. That's destructor, copy constructor, move constructor, copy assignment, and move assignment operators. And I've been trying to get into the habit of, for these methods, if they don't throw exceptions, I specify so. Because I found a couple of cases where that helps the optimizer to say we're not throwing exceptions. So it's default construction because I like RAII. We mobilize to set the dependencies, and if you want to, you can demobilize, but you can just let the object fall out of scope and it'll naturally demobilize itself. Mobilize also binds the network and starts listening. And then we have parse request. I think this is exposed just for the tests, for the unit tests. The main web server integration doesn't call them directly. Same thing for, there's two of them? Why do I have two of them? I don't know. I have two versions of parse request, one that returns a message and the other one that doesn't, for some reason. I don't remember why. Okay, this is the methods that we're implementing from the base class. And then, oh, this is another pattern that I try to follow. It's called the Pimple Pattern, where we encapsulate all of our private properties into an internal class, which we only opaquely specify. So a user doesn't know what's in the imple's internal structure. It just knows that our class has a pointer to it. So I think I do that in pretty much every class that has a public API. So server transport is a specification of one of its dependencies, right? This is how the server talks to the world through the sockets. And there are two delegates, it looks like. One is the user can provide this whenever a connection is ready to go, and another one is where the transport is telling the server that there's a new connection. So we bind the network by specifying what port we listen in on, and then what to call when a new connection comes in. And then we can get what port we bound. I think that's mostly for testing. Oh, also we can say 0 for port. Did I say that? I didn't say that. I think I need to say that. Because if port is 0, I think it picks a default one. Yeah, it does it through this endpoint open. And okay, I'm looking for it. Yeah, so our port can be assigned to us if we start off with a 0 port. Isn't the struct in uPointer struct impl unnecessary? That's C, right? So let me go back to that. You were talking about this stuff, right? So the reason I do it separately, and you could just do that. If I just did that, what I found out is this is declaring the name, but in a way where it ends up being in the global namespace. If I do that, however, this declares the structure explicitly to be inside the class's namespace. So when I go to the CPP file, impl, it's server impl instead of HTTP impl. Does that make sense? Is adding the keyword struct inside the template parameter. Oh, actually, you know what? You're right. I don't need that, do I? Could probably do that. That's a good observation. That was redundant, wasn't it? Pretty sure you're right. And let's do that cleanup now. So let's look everywhere where this is declared. Find all yes. We'll go clean that up because we can. Yeah, that's redundant. We have to say it's a struct there, but when we reference it, it's located within the correct scope. Okay, there I already did it correctly. And there I did it correctly. So a few places I had it correct. That was wrong. Whoops. So I'm not sure exactly if that... Oh, here's an example where I did it incorrectly. I'm not sure exactly that's what you're pointing at, but hopefully it was. And then, yes, you are absolutely correct. We do not have to say struct there. That we need to say that, though. I think... Actually, wait a minute. This might be one where it's declared in another header. Actually, no, I think that that was missing. Yeah, because there it's there. Okay. A remarkable number of places where I did it wrong, isn't it? I think it's mostly because I copy pasted from one place, and it just didn't occur to me that I was being redundant. This is a very gonna be a very cross-cutting change, isn't it? Everything was declared like that. And I wonder if I actually need shared pointer. I think I can use unique pointer everywhere. Oh no, I think that was needed for some other weird reason. Okay, let's look specifically for bracket struct impl end bracket. Okay, there's one more. Two more. Wonder if I could extract the Pimple idiom to its own separate class. I think, didn't you ask that before, like about a month ago, or was it someone else? Probably, but I don't like I don't like a lot of template magic because it's hard for people to understand. But if it could be done in a way that wasn't too hard to understand, I would do it. I don't know how to do that because every impl is going to be a different structure, right? And I'm going to have to end up using that name impl underscore directly anyway. I'll have to think about it. This should not break anything, but let's make sure. I also need to build this on Linux, which I should boot up my Linux box right now. Booting up the Linux box. While it's booting up, I'll start my X server so I can connect to it. And we'll get ready to run the unit tests. And there's going to be a lot of check-ins to do too. I bet everything will be changed now, right? Oh, not everything. Starting from the top. Actually, if they're all like this, I'll do it from the command line. Yeah, they were all this, right? There was nothing else. Nothing else I did other than this fix. I want to make sure. Whoops. Actually, I did get diff is probably good enough. Oh wait a minute. No, I lost my list. My list is gone. Okay, URI UTF-8 in web server WebSocket. I use get GUI so I don't lose my list. Okay, and I know Adam uses tortoise git, and I use that too sometimes, but I've gotten into the habit in my streaming to use git GUI a lot, or even things I would have used tortoise git before anyway. It's interesting what habits you develop when your mode of operation is different. Okay, so I think I want to just do it all in the command line. So git commit-am, we'll say remove redundant struct from Pimple Pattern. Okay, is it, oh, it's lowercase a? Okay. HTTP network transport. JSON. Here I'm incurring the cost of having multi-repo setup. I think it's acceptable cost though. I don't usually need to do such a wide cross-cutting change. So most of the time when I'm working, I'm not changing like every single repository. I'm just changing one at a time, maybe two. UTF-8, almost done. 3 more. Websockets is next, right? In web server. Alright, this should do it. I think I ran that after I built, but I don't remember now. Better safe than sorry. Okay, so that was unexpected but cool. We got rid of a redundant struct word everywhere that I, for some reason, didn't even see. I think we were in server, and then I was moving. Oh, I was moving through server transport and timekeeper, right? I think I hadn't gotten to this to timekeeper yet. Server transport. Actually, I was done with that. So timekeeper, really, you can just get the current time now. It's in seconds, and it's up to the implementation what the actual that. Oh, my connection to my AWS timed out. Restart. Okay, I guess it times out after a while. All right. Anyway, timekeeper get current time. Yeah, the time is implemented in terms of seconds, but the base of the time is sort of up to the implementation. Okay, client. So this is used to parse responses, right? So parsing the status line of a response. Right, so it's like protocol first, then status code, then reason. Yep. And then there's actually no state at all to the client at all, because it's right now the client only parses responses and has no state. But it will eventually. When we make a program that actually talks to a web server, it will. This is actually very basic right now. Okay, and then request. And I think this only exists to give a body to that was a convenience method, and that's for testing, also for convenience. Response is the same way, right? Oh no, response actually does a builder thing. Right, so it's, again, the protocol, status code, reason, then the headers, then the body, return it as a string. All right, so here's the core of the web server. It's a lot of includes. I wonder if we need them all. We probably do, actually. I eyeballed that and I didn't see anything that obviously looked weird to be there. So we have this to give a name to the end line sequence. Then we have, is this hard coded? I think it is, and I intended to make it configurable, but I never did. Yes, I have it make content length configurable. So it's not configurable, it's just a max. Header line limit looks like it is configurable. Let me make sure. So this header line limit is settable in the configuration. Okay, that is what? Setting the default. Actually, I'm wondering why we're doing this. Why do we need to do that? Do we even use this configuration thing? Oh, I guess we do. But only for the host? Okay, I actually don't think we need to do that, because this header line limit is stored here specifically. We do store a copy there, but I don't actually think we need it. Oh, no, there's a get. Yeah, so that's why. So bring that back in. That's in case the main program were to get the value. We need to say what it initially is. Okay. So, right, we have a thread called Reaper that's running all the time. And it's stopped in our destructor. And again, this is sort of a pattern I might want to pull out into its own class called like a worker thread or something. Because this is all the way we always start one, and this is always the way we stop it. Okay, mobilize. It's actually pretty simple. We set our dependencies, we bind the port. Bind network can change the port? No, it can't. Wait a minute, what if we said 0 though? I guess it doesn't make sense, does it, to bind to a random port number? So maybe do we need to have a check for that then? Because this will report the wrong number. It'll just report 0 if it actually passed 0 to bind network. Yeah, I think that might be a bug right now. So let me stop and write a test for that, just to see what it actually does and see if it's what I expect. So that's in server tests. Let me collapse everything. So we have a bunch of parses. We have a mobilize. Right, so let's make one. We'll make it mobilize known port, and we'll have mobilize random port. So what I expect is, if I set 0 for the port, actually what is the port set to by default? It's not set. Oh, it does have a default. Ah, okay, so we really should have a get, shouldn't we? So let's build that in here. I should be able to say assert, or we can just say expect equal, we expect 80 is the default port number, right? 80, yeah. We expect 80 if we call server get configuration item port. And we'll set 0, tell it to mobilize, assert that it's bound, and then expect not equal to 0. Actually, and then we can expect equal, how do we say this? There was a method here called, I thought there was a method to get the port number back out. Okay, so yes. Let's do it this way. We expect transport port is a integer, right? So if I say first the string, we should expect that to equal, if I take the port number and format it as a string. Some abstractions printf %PRIU16 transport port. And why did it not like that? I'm missing something. Oh. No, that's... What am I missing? Missing... Oh, that's not declared. That is declared in int types. All right. Actually, I'm going to do that off screen for a second, and now let's see it fail. I expect it to fail because I don't think it's doing the right thing. Actually, it passed. Okay, I'm kind of mystified how it passed. Let's do the sanity check here where we expect it both to be equal and not equal. It should actually print something. Gtest filter, we'll set it to mobilize. Okay, maybe I just didn't build it last time. Yeah, I guess I just forgot to build it. Okay, so it should be 80, but we're seeing empty strings. Let's fix that one first. That was in the constructor, I think. Right, we did this. We just needed to add one for port. This is percent PRIU16. So it's not getting the port back out. We need to repeat this process. When does that happen? Mobilize? Yeah. Oh, we should also expect to see the correct diagnostic message. So this we need to actually change. We need to get it back from the transport. Get bound port. Right, and then let's make sure the diagnostic is correct. Oh, do I have no capturing of, oh, I do have capturing of diagnostic messages, so something like this. So we'll clear them before mobilize. And we don't need that. We don't need to clear it afterwards, but we do expect this message right here, 3. Now listening on, actually I'm just going to say right exactly here. We need to construct what we expect. We expect, actually we don't need to format, do we? We can just repeat this. So say that plus that. Okay. Wait for it to build this time, please. Okay, good. Run. Ah. So it's still getting back 0 there. I actually expected it to bind a random port number. So let's run the tests. Oh, wait a minute. We're using a mock transport, aren't we? So it's not going to be completely random. We have to do the right thing here. Yeah, we're always returning 0. So let's... Actually, we have a port here. Why am I not returning the port. And yeah, so if port equals 0, new port is 0, doing one thing. Otherwise, just assign it. Here we'll say port equals, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I can make the test a little bit different. I can actually expect it to equal 1, 2, 3, 4. And say 1, 2, 3, 4 for the configuration item. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So I don't have to do that. All right. Cool. So I don't know if that's a feature change or a fix. I'm going to call it a fix because I think it was my intention all along that if port was 0, the server should just bind to a random port number and you should be able to read it back from the port configuration item. Yes. Server fix random port assignment. If 0 is set for the port configuration item, have the server, no, the transport should be picking a port number for us, and this port number should be obtainable by getting the port configuration item after mobilization is complete. All right. Okay, so fix that. Let's go back to the server. Right, I was looking at this and now I see this is what I didn't see before that kind of gave me a red flag in my head about there being a problem. Now I see that once we succeed in binding, we should get it back because it could have changed if we said 0. And then we update our configuration item so that users can see it. Okay, what else do we need to look at here? We start the timer thread. Demobilize should stop it. It does. And we have to call release network is the opposite of bind network. Right, and we're creating one. We're not creating one, it's dependency injected. So this releases it. This mobilized, is this flag actually used? Okay, that's if mobilized is called a second time, we do nothing. I think it's just a simple guard for that. All right, there's the parse requests. Yeah, I was wondering why I had 2 overloads, and one is just ignoring the second parameter. It's an output parameter. I guess that's just if we don't need to know the message end. Okay. So, subscribing to diagnostics, we pass it through or we delegate it to this sender. We have a bunch of configuration items, and I'm wondering, these first 2 we have defaults, but we don't have these other ones. I wonder if we need to add those. I don't know. Probably should. So let's make a unit test for that. I guess we can put it up at the top here. Test inside of a fixture server tests default configuration. And let's see. Yeah, it's just server. So we'll just do a bunch of, yeah, okay. So it's just a sequence here. So expect equal, and then we'll expect the defaults for all the things. So this one, header line limit, its default is 1,000. Server.get configuration item header line limit. Yeah, so we're gonna have a bunch of these. So the default port was 80. Okay, let's just copy all these strings first. So request timeout, idle timeout, bad request report bytes, initial ban period, probation period, and too many request threshold, too many request measurement period. All right, so what do we expect for all those? Oh, this should go in front though. And that goes at the end of all these. All right, so request timeout. 60.0. Idle timeout. Another 60. What was that? Bad request report bytes. They're kind of in a weird order. 100. Initial ban period, I think that was 60. 60. I just pick a minute for default timeouts. So I did that for all of those apparently. Too many requests is 10. So 10 requests over a... It says bool false. It's not false. It's 1. I don't know why Intellisense thinks that. So 10 requests over 1 second period will get you banned. All right. So this obviously is going to fail because we're not initializing our default configuration items. So let's do that. So in the constructor, going to be doing a bunch of these things. So how many of them? Oh, how did that happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So copying, pasting. This may be a pedantic check to do, but the unit test sort of specifies our requirement. Our requirement is that these all exist and have these default values. Okay. Request timeout. Idle timeout. Bad request report bytes. Initial ban period. Probation period. Too many requests threshold. And then too many requests measurement period. And then the types are going to be different, right? So that's a double. Oh, we had a problem with this before, right? In JSON. We need to do something weird with this. Yeah, it was this weird thing. Maybe I should probably make this a helper. Let's do that. So helper function. Where's a good place for a helper function? Maybe right here. So string format double with decimal point. Um, with yeah, because the problem is with the G format, if it's a whole number, you won't get a decimal point. And so this ensures that we get one. So auto s, we'll just say s, return s. Okay. This is a helper function which formats the given double precision floating point value as a string, ensuring that sorry about that, is talking to someone in the background. So ensuring that yeah, most of the time interruptions where I have to mute the mic are caused by the dog barking, but this time the dog was unfairly blamed. Ensuring that it always ends in a decimal. It's two possibilities. It has to show up as a float. It's really, I need to change this from us as a string, ensuring that will always look like a floating point value and never an integer. That's really the guarantee of this function. This is the number to format. A string representation of the number is returned. String representation of the number guaranteed not to look like an integer. It's returned. So format double as distinctly not integer. It's sort of a weird name, but that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna use that in these constructors here. All of these are doubles except for this one. This is a ZU. These are all doubles, I think. Yep. Thank you, Intellisense. Alrighty. Let's give that a shot. Alright, cool. Okay, well that runs sanity check. We'll go check it in. Yes. Server. Put all configuration items, make all configuration items visible by default. Before they were visible if you set them, now they're visible even if you don't set them, and you'll see their default values. All right. Okay, moving along. Let's look and see if there's anything funny looking. Okay, I already covered this. I think I was looking at this and that made me think of the defaults. I could refactor these so they use a common helper as well. So what's different here? where we end up storing it. And this part here, correct? Let's see. Let's refactor that. We'll have 3 of them, right? 1 for each type. Or maybe we can be clever and use a template. Hey, why not we try to be clever and use a template? Okay, so how would we do that? The template's arguments have to have all things that are different, fundamentally. And I need to find a place to put the template. Let's put it here. So here's the body of the thing. And it has no direct effect, does it? It's reaching into the impl though, so it makes me think I do want a template. I mean, I do want to put it in the impl, so let's put it in the impl here as a method. Where are my methods? Here they are. Put it here. So template, some stuff, void, I guess, parse configuration item. And some arguments, right? So obviously we will need a item type. What keyboard do I use? I'm using an Adesso. See if I can find it. I had a Razer keyboard for a while, but I went through 2 of them. I kept breaking the keys off. Keyboard. So I ended up buying one at Fry's Electronics that was just plain mechanical, and it's actually worked out pretty well. It's, what is it? If I look on the bottom, what's it? AKB 35UB. Yep. Okay. Yeah, this is the keyboard I have. It is very plain. But it works. It was cheaper than a Razer. I don't need the funny LED stuff, and I just my requirements were relatively cheap, mechanical, and no frills. So that's what I have. Oh, I should type that out, right? Adesso AB UB. Yeah, I mean, I'm a browsing shopper. I'll go to Fry's Electronics. I'm gonna build a computer, and I'm like, I need a keyboard. I don't want a flashy one. Oh, there's one that looks good, and I just pick it up. Okay, we're gonna have a couple other arguments, so I'm going to do that thing. So type name item type. We're gonna have value, right? Oh, was there a price for that? I closed it. View history, show. See if Amazon sells it. There you go, $65. So cheaper than 80 euros. But it's pretty bare bones though. No flashy things at all. Okay. This, I think we need to make that a type template argument as well. So const char star format. And the 8 key. I guess what's yeah, Linus recommends it. The US keyboard is 80, right? I've already closed that twice now. And that. Where does it say how many keys are on it? Shouldn't it say like right up front? Come on, just tell me. 87 keys. No, I have this one. I have the extended 104 keys. So there you go. 80 keys. So how do you, what's a 68 key keyboard look like? There must be a lot fewer keys. Like that, I guess. Really? I could never do that because I don't know, if I don't have those buttons on those keys on the side for the arrows, I get really uncomfortable. Edge of 468. I don't want the add. Is this it? It doesn't look quite right. I guess it says Magic Force and it says 68. Yeah, see, I couldn't do that. It's missing keys. It's missing all of the number keypad. Well, otherwise it has all the same keys. Wait a minute, where are the numbers? Where are the numbers and the F keys are together? Oh, that's so weird. I guess that's okay though, because you don't usually use the numbers and F keys at the same time, do you? Cool. Okay, what else is different? Type-wise. I guess the string for this part, right? So that would be const char used to laptops on number pad. Yeah. I itch when I'm on the laptop too long. I'm like, I really need my number pad. Okay, format and description, I guess. By Mathbot with a number pad, with no numpad. Okay, so we're gonna end up using this here and this here. And we're gonna return it or change it as well, right? So value item. Let's put it first, and then we can just say item here, here, and here. And this is new item. And then this, we can, I guess we just do this, right? And then we say description. Are you guys still playing the bot? Oh, if you were, you disconnected. Oh, Raleigh Monkey scored a couple times early on. Okay, let's see. Okay, this needs to be format, correct? And I need to double format this. System abstractions, that's printf. The string, right? Because this becomes description. And then format, and then format. And then we need a double, we need another one in front. Oh no, that's included in that, sorry. That will expand to %zu, for example. Okay. So this is the template of a helper function, which is used to parse a configuration item and set it if the parsing is successful. Param. I'm not really sure how to do a doxygen comment when we have both template arguments and function arguments. Maybe I'll just mix them. So item type. Maybe I'll just say param without any context for the template parameter. This is the type of the configuration item. Format. This is the printf style format specification for printing the configuration item, and then description. This is the string to display in diagnostic messages about the configuration item. And then in and out is the item. This is the configuration item to set. And then the value. This is the value to parse to be the new value of the item. Okay, now let's try to use the damn thing. That's interesting. Why did it put a T there? No. How about if I not? How do I get rid of that thing? I can't get rid of it? Go away. It's stuck. I can't get rid of it. Oh well, we'll just live with it. Set configure. So I can try to use it here now. So it's just size T and ZU and header line limit, right? And how come Intellisense doesn't like it? Oh, Pimple. There we go. Okay, and it wants the item, so that's this guy. And the value. There we go. Although it has a squiggly under it, why? May not reference a non-external entity. Okay, why? Is that because I don't have the syntax quite right? Let me look it up. So that's C++ template function. Function template. Yes. What does it look like? It's just parameter list. How come this is so big? All right. Okay, I think I'm doing it right. Okay, what's wrong? What's wrong? No matching overloaded function found. Invalid expression as a template argument for format. Why is that invalid? Does that have to be like const? Or const expr? Now, how do we do that? It's not valid there. Can you not use a string as a template argument? I thought you could do that, so let me see if I'm wrong. Template string argument. There we go, someone's asked it before. A string literal cannot be used as a template argument? It's possible to use string literals as template arguments. Use character packs as template arguments. Template. Ooh, I've never seen that syntax before. Passing the string as a C pointer? Yeah. See, they have an example here. We use character packs as template arguments. Macros? Ugh. No thanks. Encode the string as a type. I think I'm just trying to be overly clever. I can just move them to be in here. So this moves down here. And they are ins. Get rid of that. And we just move them now to here. So new item. Okay, yeah, the impls need to go. Oh, comma needs to go. All right. So yeah, what I wanted to do is build that into the template instead of having to pass it at runtime, but I guess you can't without doing something really crazy like what they're doing here. I don't even understand that syntax. Hmm. Use the address of a string with external linkage. Oh, It's interesting that example though, they like have T, but they don't actually use the T anywhere. I don't want to have to do something silly like that. I just wanted to shorten it up, and I thought using a template would be a way to simplify it. I guess this does do the making that a template argument does allow me to have this specified only once, because otherwise that would be different every time. So I think I'm happy. Just it's going to be a little bit repetitive because I have to say, well, actually it's no more repetitive than it was before, is it? Oh, there's two formats. There's a scan and a print. So there's scan format and then there's print format. Because they can be different. You can't just assume they're the same. Although they will be the same for us. Scan format and then print format there. Anyway, we do have to be a bit repetitive there, but this, although it'll end up being the same, we would say PRIU 8 there, port number. That's port. Okay, inactivity timeout is LF on both ends. Actually, do we want LF on both ends? Yeah, it's just a diagnostic message. Request timeout. Wait a minute, what is it not like about this one? Oh, that's double. Actually, will it deduce it if I do that? Oh, it does. I like that. Type deduction. I don't know if that's a C++ 11 or a 14 thing, though. I'll find out later if it doesn't build for Linux, I guess. Idle timeout. This makes it significantly easier to read, I think. Bad request report bytes. That's one of these ZU ones. Initial ban period. Probation period. Too many requests threshold. Too many requests measurement period. And we're done. Get ready to test. All right, some awesome refactoring there. Server refactor set configuration item method. Extract method this thingy. Parse configuration item. And use it in, well, use it for each configuration item. All right, so let's see. I usually stream from noon to 3, my time. So right now that's 7 minutes to 3. So I think what I'll do is I'll flip over to Linux now and make sure that there's no unexpected breakage. So actually, can I change the font on this? Because I don't like how small it ends up being. Where be the font? Under looks? Text. Here we go. I need bigger. Apply. Much better. Save that guy. So SSHY, myself at my Linux box. A key. And then I really should make this automatic like I have it on Windows, but I do eval SSH agent and then SSH add. And then I'm going to add, just for the heck of it, my projects AWS key, and then xfce4 terminal. That's what I usually like to do that, because then I can make multiple terminals and they'll inherit the SSH agent. So here it is. Go to projects Excalibur. So yeah, we're on Linux now. Using my Windows box as a X server. And running basically the same tools, but on Linux instead of Windows. So cmake dot, cmake build dot. And here's where I might run into trouble. Yeah, see. Different access, really? Oh, so network connection HTTP 212. Let's find that. Network connection .hpp. Where is that? It's in includes. Okay. Line 212. 212. What is it? What problem does it have? Redeclared. Where was it declared first, though? Ah, what's it doing up here? Why is it declared public? And shouldn't this be down here too? Actually, why is it declared at all? This we probably don't need, but let's see what happens. Not declared in the scope of network connection impl. Yeah, why is this there? I don't know. Oh, I think I did have a reason for that. It's the way I have the implementation split between the cross-platform stuff and the non-cross-platform stuff. I wanted to be able to say platform arrow. Yeah, I wanted to be able to say it's a member of that class. Well, what happens if I declare it private? And I don't use it directly here. What happens? Huh, we're good. So I wonder why Windows didn't complain about it. Oh, okay, we're not good. It's private. Wait a minute. Specifically the POSIX.hpp. Am I looking at the right place? Oh, the impl can't see the platform class. Well, I guess... I don't want it to be public, though. Do I? Actually, what's the point? What's the harm of it being public? I guess the harm would be someone would read it and they would say, why is it public? So let's... I guess it has to be scoped inside of the impl to be visible from the impl. So... where is that? Right here? Yeah, there it is. So... type... there. Let's try that. Oh, it's not going to quite work because when it's defined here, it will be the wrong class. It has to, oops, it has to be this. Come on. And while I'm at it, this needs to change. It contains the platform specific properties of the network connection class. And we ought to say the same thing in Windows as well. Windows. Header file. Okay, so yeah, everywhere we say that, we have to say that now. Fighting my cursor. Okay, and same thing in POSIX, right? Try that out. I hope I'm not, I hit the wrong thing. I'm hoping I'm not taking myself down a rabbit hole doing this. Not been declared. Oh, I missed a spot. Oh, it's in endpoint. Yeah, I forgot to go through this one. Wait a minute. Why does it say that? I don't know. Why is it complaining about that? Network connection impl. $25. Oh, within this context. Oh, it does need to be public because network endpoint creates them. Shoot. I might have to live with this being public for a while until I fix this up. Yeah, it's because network connection and network endpoint are related classes. And the endpoint is using a helper of the connection. Endpoint is using a helper of connection, but it's a platform specific helper. It can't get it if this class is private. Okay, I'm gonna fix this later. For now, we'll just undo the changes I was making here. So close that one. Undo, close, undo, close. This, I kind of wanted to keep that one though. Okay, I think we're good. Right. So the solution is to not redeclare it as private, the type. So the type is private, the property is, the type is public but the type is public, but the property is private. So we're still sort of okay, although it's going to read weird. Let me make a note to address this later. So this is in system abstractions. Fix weird public versus private nature of network connection, Pimple and platform. We'll address that later. But for now, everything seems to be building. Okay, C test dot, right? I don't think I actually need the dot. Good. Okay, so what changed was just removing. Okay, this was documentation cleanup. So fix documentation. That's all I'm going to say for that one. This one was remove redundant declaration of network connection impl. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up soon. Just pushing that, and okay, I'm done with Linux for now. I'm gonna exit that out. I'm gonna pull it. Hold on, I forgot to close this one. I'm gonna pull it back in to Windows, and then build it one more time to make sure we're good. I guess while it's pulling, let me do a recap, and after I build and verify it's running, we'll wrap it up and host someone else, probably Adam. So let's see, what are we doing for the... Oh, I forgot to go through the work I did today. I might have to browse through my own stream. But okay, essentially we did... I can't remember precisely what it did, but I went... refactored bits and pieces in web server, HTTP. Oh, we hit base64, didn't we? Actually, I was hitting it from the top down. So it would have been, yeah, web server base64 HTTP. Yeah, but I need to go back. Need to review stream and video to see what exactly I ended up choosing to work on. I should have been taking notes, but I forgot. Okay, so not a whole lot of visible changes, but we did clean up bits and pieces here and there, fixed some problems in JSON and other things, so I'm kind of happy. Yeah, there was the floating point precision issue I fixed at the beginning of the stream, and then I fixed the server timestamps, and then I noticed a problem with how our timekeeper is tracking time that I'll need to go back and fix. I took a bunch of notes in under to do of things that I noticed that are maybe longer things that need their own stream for. But mostly I went through and just did random bits and pieces of refactoring today, and I need to come up with what I'll do in the next stream. What I want to get to is transport layer security and adding that so that I can do essentially a one character change here. Okay, it's not showing it, but you know how if it's unsecure, it's this? I want to be able to go and do that. So right now, it's not listening to the port for HTTPS, and I want it to be able to do that. So to do it right, we have to have transport layer security and bringing in a library to do that. But I need to finish my research. What I was considering to bring in was LibreSSL, so I have notes about that. And I have it in GitHub, but I haven't pulled it into Excalibur and set it up to build with it, and I don't know how to use it yet. So I want to get to that soon, but I need to do some more research. So if I have time to do the research, I'll probably get to this in the next stream. Otherwise, I might spend a stream or two more refactoring and cleaning up. But we'll see. So try to get to this. After we have that, the next major thing would be to get into Twitch. And I need to research I guess it's IRC, but any of the other protocols and things I need to know to make a bot, I need to research that. Once I have TLS and the knowledge I need for doing that, then we'll jump into that. I kind of want to move MathBot 2000 into my own channel as a real Twitch bot rather than having it stand alone in the server. And actually, it could just do both, right? It could be active in both. Why not? So that'll tongue-tied. That'll just about wrap it up for me today. And let's go see what's going on. Okay. Adam's still streaming. And I'm just going to host him because I don't see anyone else coding that I know of online. Adam's a great guy. Or he won't mind if I host him again. So anyway, thanks for joining, and we'll go visit Adam now. Talk to you soon.